Greetings, everyone. It is Brony Debates time. Welcome to 2024, where we are taking the kid gloves off. We are no longer doing, these wussy little mean-nothing topics that nobody cares about, like, whether or not racism's a problem in the fandom or how to solve world hunger. No, we're getting to the important stuff in 2024 here. We are finally going to settle the age-old debate of who is the best princess in My Little Pony, right? So, in order to tackle this, I brought on only the most credible voices in all of the Brony fandom. Some of them are so credible you've never even heard of them, such as Mr. Icanus Gruila. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. Time to get this to a full brawl.
Yeah. All right, I want to see blood. Okay, if we haven't started a second American Civil War by the end of tonight, then we've failed as bronies. Alrighty then, and also helping us with this, we got Aleximus Prime. How are you doing tonight, sir?
Hello, guys. Excuse me. Hello, everyone. I'm kind of getting over being sick, but my voice should be able to survive tonight.
Indeed.
Hey, I'm doing good, Brony. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, especially on such short notice. And we've also got the objectively worst princess, Heather Blossom, joining us tonight. How are you doing tonight?
Get wrecked. And it's bull freaking, and I'm gonna swear, it's bull freaking cock-y that you won't let me argue on my own behalf about why I'm the best. There's so many reasons I am the best princess here. But fine.
You're not canon, you cringe lord.
I don't give a shit. Freaking, I guess I'll just fight for my sisters in Christ like fucking Cadence or some shit.
All right,
Brony, we should do a segment at the end where we just go no rules whatsoever and say who's best princess.
This is Brony Debates. Have you heard the way I talk on my live streams? There's already no rules. But
oh yeah, no, it's a full-on brawl.
Yeah, there is one rule.
Mark.
There is one rule, and that rule is that I do have to give a shout out to everybody who supports the channel, especially the $10 and up tier, such as Objectively Worst Princess, as well as Shady Oak Ministries, Sid McConroy, Autoknight, Emerald Spencer, Senko, DJ Skywalker, Rein-Kun, Billy Henline, Alden MacManx, EasyModeGamer, Kanto Acrylic VA, Mr. Sonic 31, Alicia Lynette, Calbeck, StarChaser, VentureCorp, Willieson, Icanus Gruila, who's with us tonight, Vulpecula Enfield, the Raptors Talon, Jimmy Banthrall Jr., and Dark Malcontent, executive producer of Titan Art Studios. Be sure to check out all their links in the description. They make some pretty good content too. You can also see how you can support the channel, what you get in return, especially if you want to be on the show and suggest topics yourself. Now then, let's get into it. So, we all know who the best princess really is. It's the tall one, right? Because we're running on Invader Zim rules here. Obviously, the leaders are the leaders because they're the tallest. That's the only one that could really hold things down for a whole millennium without falling to Opaline or some stupid nonsense like that, or without transitioning into My Little Pony life. It's Princess Celestia. All right, I'm not going to do the Leroy Jenkins shout tonight. I don't think I can physically deliver that much power at the moment. So that's who the best princess is. Heather, who do you think the best princess is?
I think we gotta go with the MVP, Princess Cadence. Like, in her debut episode, she may have been kidnapped by changelings, but she also had one of the best banger songs of that time in the series, This Day Aria. She had a duet with frickin' Chrysalis. That song was amazing. And also, like, you remember in the frickin' Crystal Empire opening, how she had to shield an entire kingdom from days on end? And then she birthed a freaking alicorn baby. That hadn't been done in a millennia. She's just breaking records wherever she goes. She's like the freaking golden child or some shit. Just born to be better.
That's a decent point. Alex, who's your princess?
Well, you'd think I'd pick someone from G4 because I prefer it much better, and G5 has not been too great lately since since chapter 6. But I'm actually gonna go with Pip, Princess Pip. I was gonna say Zip and Pip, like both of them, if that's okay. But I decided Pip because you'd think it would be Zip since she's the more mature, the more grown up. And I still do really like Zip, but like Pip kind of shows her flaws more, and that's what makes her likable. Even if she's, a phone addict and everything in the show, that's actually kind of a good quirk. I didn't expect them to do as good with that as they did, and it's still not perfect. Sometimes it might feel a little cringe, but it kind of helps to show her flawed side. She's a bit of a phoneaholic, and there have been episodes where she'd use her, her knowledge of how internet fame works and everything to help somebody out. Like when she was helping Sunny come to terms with the fact that she became an embarrassing meme on the internet, and then she showed her like kind of behind the scenes outtakes from her live streams that were like she had a compilation of fails or whatever, and I just that was just really charming to me. So yeah, I guess I'll go with Pip.
Alrighty then, and Icanus, who's your pick?
Well, I'll have to go with someone who's a bit of a traitor in the MLP. Not completely, but more had a problem with not getting the recognition she deserved. I will have to go with Princess Luna.
Alrighty then. So we've got on here, something, I am legitimately surprised that nobody went with Princess Twilight, but something that Heather had said right before we went live is that Twilight has main character syndrome. And if you ask me, also should have never been an alicorn in the first place. Like, never should have.
If you think about it,
never should have been more than 2 alicorns. I'm gonna die on that hill.
I'm gonna say it like Alex had a point before where you were right, the Celestia had the wrongest rule without anything bad happening. If anything, Celestia's worst decision was making Twilight take over, because after Twilight take over, things fucking went wrong and all the pony races got segregated again. Like, that's a huge setback. Is it not canonical? Twilight's
I don't consider it canon.
Yeah,
well,
I don't
it's not what you
there.
consider. It's not what you consider canon. It's what is canon. And what is canon is Twilight failed. She failed so fucking bad. That automatically makes her the worst, doesn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
She's probably the worst princess because she, sent Pony, not technologically, but socially, ponies went back to the Dark Ages.
There was
I'm
probably
sure there wasn't that many Wendigos.
There was probably freaking wars.
Yeah, and even if it wasn't that long ago, then she just screwed it up in a smaller amount of time, which is a big.
She's like this G.I. Joe Cobra Commander, this gay Cobra Commander with a horn on its head, is too much for me to handle. I need to get rid of all of magic. How do you mess up that bad after doing...
That just sucks.
Yeah.
That just sucks.
How are you gonna get beat by Opaline of all people? So,
Opaline sucks.
Yeah, that's what's going on there. So that's why we're not picking Princess Twilight really on top of her just being the main character in the first place.
I was about to say we should do a debate on what's worse princess, but we just decided that here and now it's Twilight. Twilight was the worst.
So the going from there, we've got mine is obviously Princess Celestia is obviously the best princess, and then
Heresy.
Yeah, and then Alex picked the second most objectively worst princess, just being from G5. The only reason they're not the worst is because at least Heather because at least they're canon where Heather isn't. We've got Luna the traitor, which should be an automatic disqualification. And if Colorado and Maine is anything to go by in recent weeks. And what else? What else we got? No, that pretty much covers it. Flurry Heart did nothing, so Flurry Heart also doesn't count. So yeah, Celestia was able to, and we've seen the comics. Things were happening while Celestia was ruling. There were meteor showers that she had to, rally her troops to fight against and make a school in order to. But she made the school for gifted unicorns, which ended up raising Twilight, and did a lot of good for Equestria. Her biggest problem was Queen Chrysalis, but she handled Queen Chrysalis. She and Luna handled Sombra pretty good. They handled Discord. They handled by themselves what took, the whole of the main 6 a few tries in order to get in. And like, Chrysalis would pop up again every now and then, but it would always be in like the late stage of a Chrysalis plan. And then whenever she revealed herself, like as soon as Chrysalis was known, Celestia came in and stomped her out. So it wasn't like Celestia was sitting on her butt for 1,000 years. She was running things, and things were good. And so what do you guys say to that? Like, Heather, how is your pick going to stack up against Celestia when we consider 1,000 years of active peace?
Celestia's old. She's washed up. She can't keep up with the times. Cadence is new. She's fresh. You know what freaking Celestia is she was given all her power right off away, because she was just full-blown born Alicorn. You know what Cadence was? She was a Pegasus first. She didn't even have any of that fucking unicorn magic like freaking Twilight did. You know what all she had was the power of love, which kind of sucks, but she made it work. You know what she did? She freaking, got a bucket of fish and slammed it on the Enchantress's head, and for some reason the universe went, oh my god, you know what we should do? Make her an Alicorn. And then they did, and it worked.
So you admit that it sucks.
Works.
You admit that Cadence is no good.
No, I don't. I'm saying she got a pretty weird, grown-up deal, but she started from the bottom, now she here. Celestia didn't have to work for shit. She just freaking was who she was. Cadence started from the bottom and became better and better and better and got progressively better. And then, you know what she also does? Her power is drawn from love, which you have in unlimited capacities. You know what sun power does? It dies out. Suns explode. Supernova. You're never gonna run out of love. You remember when she fucking shielded a kingdom for days on end out of the pure love of, magic of love that she had just stored up within herself? You know how much love that is? A lot. This woman has done more and has her own empire that she has to rule. Might I add, by herself. Yeah, sure, Shining Armor's there, maybe managing the troops and shit. But freaking, she's doing exactly what Celestia did. She is basically new Celestia. Celestia's done, Cadence is coming in.
So what points can you bring against Celestia that would disqualify her as the best princess?
Frankly, as close as she wants to be to her subjects, she just doesn't have a personal line with them, so that doesn't make her a very personable ruler. People still act so uptight around her, whereas when people are approached by Cadence, it's kind of casual. I think diplomatically, Cadence does better. Cadence has a better reserve of power, while Celestia doesn't even want that job anymore. She wants to retire.
You'd want to retire too after 1,000 years. I don't see how that's a point.
I'm just saying... it's different. You know, there's a difference in quality when someone wants to do the job as opposed to someone who's just doing it because they have to.
Usually people who want positions of power and leadership are the last people you want to be leading. The best leaders don't want to be leaders.
Yeah, but she's already been doing it for 1,000 years. That's 1,000 years of doing shit you don't really want to do. She was on her last legs.
Alex, what do you...
She also made the shitty decision of making Twilight Sparkle her successor. Twilight Sparkle, who left the kingdom in ruins. She ruined magic.
Oh, well, that's out of her control when, she reasonably retires after over 1,000 years of ruling. I think it was 1,100 or something like that.
It still stemmed from her shitty decision of leaving Twilight in charge.
Alrighty then. Alex, what points do you have to bring against Celestia being the best?
I just thought of this earlier. Actually, this is for Celestia and Luna. So, Icanus, is that how you pronounce your name?
Yes.
Okay. Both of you guys, Celestia and Luna, if they're best princess, if we're going by the whole canon, like G4 and G5 thing, why didn't they just, go Last Jedi Luke Skywalker on Opaline's ass and just kill her because they foresaw she would turn to the dark side back when they were kids and they apparently knew her?
Because they were literally children. I mean, sorry, not to argue against you, but like that didn't make sense.
You're trying to do Anakin, but as a youngling Anakin.
I know.
Hey, when it's youngling killing.
It's
I just have so many questions about that anyway. Like, I mean, it's kind of like we now have a contradiction that Opaline was actually born a fire alicorn. Apparently now she stole the magic from the dragon, so I guess she was lying. That's what I think. But it's it's kind of like such afterthought with how they developed this new canon now that Opaline was one of Celestia and Luna's old friends. I mean, it's nice to know there were other alicorns, because I like to think there were. I like to imagine there were a lot of alicorns back in the day, but they're like going extinct or something, and Celestia, Luna, and Opaline are the oldest ones, and I guess Opaline killed Celestia and Luna or something. Like, where are they? We gonna get them in G5?
Questions that remain to be seen, but I'm not hearing any points against Celestia.
Oh, yeah, but I'm just saying, what could she have done something about Opaline?
By the sound of it, no, I haven't seen G5 yet. I've tried to watch it a few times, and
shit.
it just I don't care, because as I was saying, I've tried to watch it a few times, and it sucks, and I don't like it. And it's really, really, really bad. The writing is bad. The voice acting is bad. The animation is bad. Everything about it is bad. The character designs are bad. So, I don't care. That being said, it sounds like
My point is,
they were too young. So I don't know how that's a point against Celestia. It's like asking, hey, Brony, why didn't you do anything to stop World War II? I was a little too young to get involved.
Oh, sorry, I forgot you hadn't seen G5. Basically, there was an episode where Opaline, she doesn't even say him by name, but
I'm caught up on the bullet points of the story.
Oh, okay, so you know that Opaline used to know them?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They were killed?
I told him because I watched some of it.
I've still got to watch
Well,
that.
yeah.
And I do still watch like Brony analysis, and some of the newer faces in the community do a really good job of covering G5.
Yeah, like Star Strike's pretty good.
Starstrike and
He
Banquo.
doesn't like it either.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going to have to look at them.
highly recommend. So yeah, that's a moot point against. Do you have any other points, or should we move on to Icanus?
No, because I still really like Celestia. I think she's been a good leader too. I don't have any problems with Luna. Like you said, she's a traitor. I don't really see it that way exactly, but I think Celestia is a good leader, and I am of course going by G4 canon because she's not in G5, and it doesn't matter anyway. It's kind of too confusing once to that territory, but I don't have an argument against Celestia, really. I was kind of joking with the whole why didn't she do something about Opaline. Anyway.
Well, you're going to have to do better than that on Brony debates. Let's see here. Icanus, what points do you have to disqualify Princess Celestia from the title of Best Princess?
I would have to say, because of her relationship with Luna, she has not always been the best at listening to her sister or picking up social cues from her. She can pick up social cues to mess with people, but not from Luna. Hence, the fight they had at the Two Sisters Castle, and the one episode we had to get overpowered unicorn in to fix.
You see, I'm not going to hold that against Celestia, because I'm pretty sure it's a lot less of Celestia ignoring her sister and a lot more of Princess Luna being passive-aggressive and non-communicative and just letting that build up inside. Because if there was any point where Luna had vented these types of things, I'm sure Celestia would have listened. She always listened to everybody else, so it does not seem in Celestia's character to completely ignore the person she cares about the most. I'm more willing to bet that the person she cares the most about was just sitting there in the corner going, well, she should know how I feel. Nothing. Nobody's gonna.
I was reading
I'm gonna
Paladin
say,
Pony.
I would think you're thinking it from a male brain viewpoint, Brony. We're talking about two females here. We're a little more receptive. I'm willing to grant you this, that maybe Celestia was so busy and overwhelmed by managing the day and Luna by the night that maybe they didn't have time to communicate. Maybe it was difficult. Maybe Luna felt like, because I certainly in Luna's position, I feel like, man, if I start complaining about this, everyone's going to think I'm self-absorbed. Everyone's not going to take it seriously if I say, hey, I wish people would appreciate me more. You know? So it definitely could have been miscommunication on both sides. At the same time, that's your freaking sister. And if you can't tell when your sister is upset, how well do you even know your sister? And it goes back to what I'm saying, is that Celestia isn't as close to her subjects as she'd like to be or as she should be. Because if she can't even communicate with her sister at this level, how is she supposed to communicate with all her subjects and people she barely knows? As it is, we see she puts up a false front all the time in front of dignitaries, which I guess to a degree you have to. But if you have to do that a lot, it's really hard to just like come across genuinely to a lot of people.
Interesting. Alrighty then. So I think we've talked enough about Celestia. Let's go over to Heather to tell us why Princess Cadence is the best.
So, Princess Cadence, or Princess Cadence Mi Amore Cadenza. So,
Indeed.
Princess, when we were introduced to Princess Cadence, we thought, oh, this sucks. The alicorn of love. But no, she had her destiny written on her freaking butt cheek from the day she became an alicorn. Like I said, she's got a much better source of power through the power of love and all type love in every form, rather than Celestia, who has the sun. That, yes, it lasts a very long time, but eventually a supernova will happen and the sun will explode and eat itself. She has a well of power that's going to last much longer because the more subjects she has and the better she runs as a ruler, which we've seen she runs an empire very well, her power is just unmatched, especially if she keeps that loving husband of hers alive for a long, long time. Who knows what she can do? I also think that, yes, she started from humbler beginnings and she understands people better than Celestia, or really any of the princesses we're talking about could, because she grew up amongst them in a regular place. She ascended to alicornhood from being a Pegasus, so she didn't even start out with regular magic. She had to get a hold and learn to use magic like in a completely fresh and new way. Like freaking Twilight just had to learn how to flap wings, and alicorns like Luna and Celestia were just born with this stuff already and had a celestial, like freaking celestial body advantage. Cadence just had to learn more and move up more. Cadence just... She's got everything you'd want in a leader. She has the power. She has the love of her subjects, which just feeds into her power more. She understands her subjects better. And we've shown that she's also, like I've said, she's broken records everywhere she's went. She's come from further when it comes to being an alicorn. She's exuded more power than a lot of alicorns and most ponies can in a lifetime. And she birthed the first alicorn baby in a millennia. That's something that not even Princess Celestia and Luna know what to do about, because they're like, I haven't heard of a baby since I was a baby. So that just goes to show she might know, like, and even just raising Flurry Heart, she might come to learn more than they do.
So did you
in
you just imply that the power of love will outlast the sun?
Yes. As corny as that sounds,
yeah.
yes. That's actually very poetic and beautiful. I'm glad I came up with it.
Okay, so Heather, where does the power of love come from?
From everything. The power of love comes from her husband, her child,
It comes from
subjects.
interpersonal relationships, which can't really exist if there are no people. okay, or ponies or whatever have you is if there's no
Those
living
exist,
creatures.
though.
Right. I'm getting to that. If there's no living things now, do you know what happens? Do you know the exact process of a sun going supernova and ceasing to exist?
Dude, I get what you're saying. You're saying, hey, if the sun supernovas, everyone dies. But you know what? Freaking
The sun
that's
is
not
going
gonna
to
happen
eat
for a
the
long time.
earth
And number
billions
two,
of years, but the sun is going to eat the earth billions of years before it explodes. And and millions of years before that, the earth will cease to be habitable by life. It'll become like Mercury. And then the sun explodes. There's not going to be there's not going to be life on that planet for a long time before the sun explodes.
Unless the power of love is so powerful, because we've seen when freaking Cadence put a bubble around the Empire that the weather changed. It was basically its own ecosystem. All I'm saying, with Cadence, hypothetical power, she could put a protective love barrier around her subjects, and they love her so much, they make her even more powerful, turn that force field into a spaceship. She goes to a new freaking solar system. There's a new sun. Oh, look, I can just set up a new planet here. And then she does. Princess Cadence just conquered all with what? The power of love, motherfucker.
That is all headcanon. We have seen that there is nothing nearly that powerful in Equestria.
And also, freaking, we come to realize that Celestia doesn't have the power of the sun anymore. Like, canonically, they bestowed their power onto Twilight and they just fucked off.
Right, but we still got 9 seasons and 1,000 years previous of that.
Well, whatever. Anyways.
Yeah.
Hey, I see Celestia in the chat.
Do you?
She's right there, you see? Yeah, see? She's got that C icon in the chat. Oh, yeah, see? A Crazy Whore 116. That's her right there.
Oh, for God's sakes, Heather. That is a low blow. Okay, I'm calling ad hominem on that one. How freaking dare you on my Christian Minecraft server?
And Trent, I want to bring up Trent's point. Heather, there's no love without life. There's no life without love, Trent. Ever think about that? Works two ways. Two-way street.
It does, but that is not the point I was making, and you did not do a good job of refuting that with canon evidence.
Well, canon evidence, like I just showed you, she basically made her own ecosystem using the magic of subjects who didn't even know her that well. You got to keep in mind, that was just
she didn't do that. That was she had it habitable.
That was not the heart.
She had it habitable for a couple of days, and then the heart took over.
Just her magic. No, but just her magic did that. And then the heart took over. With just her magic, she was able to shelter the freaking kingdom, the empire, for days just by herself. And then she has the crystal heart. I'd forgotten about that. Brony, that's a whole other well of power she has there. She's getting powered up from the crystal heart and the crystal ponies. Brony, she's basically unstoppable. Do you understand what this means? This has so many implications.
I understand you're insane.
She was the last stronghold when Sombra and the fucking Legion of Doom came around, Brony. She held out when Celestia and Luna didn't.
All right, that's a valid point.
In fact, Celestia and Luna...
That is very valid.
And Luna always making, like, the bad decision of, hey, let's just go run into this. We're super powerful. You know what? That's another thing. They were so overconfident in their own abilities that they would just not think about shit and just go into it head first, because we're alicorns. We've always been this powerful. Cadence never does that.
Well, Sombra had prep time the second round. Sombra didn't have prep time. Celestia and Luna had already taken care of Sombra once with the limited amount of prep time Sombra had, he was able to curse the Empire to disappear for 1,000 years. Right? Imagine if they actually gave him a full day of prep time, which is what happened at the beginning of Season 9. So, yeah, most people are going to...
I get what you're saying, like, to act quick, but don't act quick if you can't think quick.
All right, well, then I'll give you that. That's a valid point. The Crystal Empire held out pretty good against King Sombra under Cadence. I've been talking for too long. Alex, what points do you have against Cadence being the best?
Oh, against Cadence? Shoot. I was preparing for people to make cases against my pick. Against
we
Pip.
gotta beat up Heather first, and then we can beat you up.
Okay.
You're not doing a very good job.
We got to talk about Cadence, unless you don't think so. I mean, unless you've got points for Cadence that you want to add on. But
Cadence, like, we didn't get a whole lot of her in the show, but what we did get, she never really seemed to be that, like, flawed. So as a leader, like, I guess she's great. You know, again, we didn't get to see a whole lot of it, but the Crystal Empire, it was doing great in the show. Nothing wrong there, of course, with Sombra coming back at one point. But, well, first he took over the Crystal Empire, and they stopped him, and then he came back and destroyed the elements. Then he took over Canterlot. I can't remember even. It's been so long since I saw that episode. But she and Shining Armor...
Point?
Sure, real quick.
I want to put another point. She used her she let her husband use her body as a javelin. Can we just like go back to appreciating that? Imagine how stiff she had to make her body to make it like thrown so well. That is great form. Give her points for form.
And props to Shining Armor for being strong enough to chuck because Cadence is taller than him. To chuck someone that big.
But she's very slender. What do you think with a slender build? I wouldn't think she's that heavy. And also, he works out. He's part of the guard. But yeah, she had to be like very good on form to just be like, "Yep."
Pretty sure he's taller than she is.
Throw me, Bob.
In the show.
Bob, throw me.
Anyway, yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
All right, so Alex, what were you saying?
Well, I don't think I have any arguments against Cadence being best princess. One thing that came to my mind, which I think this is a good argument in favor of her, is the, what's it called, Three's a Crowd episode. I like how at the end she says how, like, I actually like that Discord put us on this challenge because, it feels good to unwind every so often from all the ruling I do in Crystal Empire. That's a paraphrase of what she said, but it just kind of, like, that sort of humanized her, I guess is the right word to use. Or humbled her, I guess, more. And she didn't seem like some snooty royal who's all like, "Oh, I'm on top of the world. I don't, you all are peasants." She never came across that way at all. And it's funny because the way we were introduced to her, she seemed like a villain at first, but it turned out to be Chrysalis. Yeah, it turned out to be Chrysalis instead. So, yeah, no, I have no arguments against her. I'm not being very negative tonight, am I, Brony?
You don't need to be. We do honesty on this show. Icanus, how about you?
Well,
do you have any points against Cadence that disqualifies Cadence from being...
But Rusty Harold just reminded me that, when Shining Armor threw her, she had been sleep deprived for days.
Dude, that's a good point. Yes, sleep deprived. What didn't Shining Armor say? Like she hasn't slept. She barely eats. That was her low power, and she was still able to do so much.
Well, she had to maintain that spell, which is reason if Celestia and Luna can move celestial bodies, then it's reasonable to assume that an Alicorn would be able to hold a shield spell for an extended period of time, it was about the same size. At least I think it was about the same size as the one that Shining Armor held around Canterlot for a few days. So, but she had to maintain that thing for days on end. Shining Armor had Chrysalis keeping his strength up with her magic, as well as brainwashing him at the same time. So Cadence was just pulling. Cadence was just pulling from a well of power, but she didn't really do much outside of maintain that field, which is a feat. I'm not going to take that away from her. But when she finally collapsed because she didn't have anyone rejuvenating her, then it started to fall. King Sombra was able to get in. She did get a little bit of rest, which is enough that when your body recovers just enough for you to wake up, you can get an adrenaline spike and be able to get one more push. A lot of people are capable of doing that, so that's not hard to believe. Heather, what were you going to say?
I was gonna say, didn't they say that the barrier she had up was something different than what Shining did? Because Shining, from what I understand, his was a spell that he just fired off once a day, and it was a magical barrier. There was something special about her shielding. Like, I feel like it had something to do with her love magic. Like,
Yes,
that's
it
what
was.
keeps the
They
Crystal
they
Empire
had said
safe.
she was using her love magic to keep Sombra out and to keep the Empire inhabitable.
I'm wondering if even like Shining Armor's shield would have worked, because we see him try to combat Sombra and like his horn got covered in crystals. Like, I'm guessing like Cadence was the only one who could have done that, and Shining couldn't help that much.
Yeah, Sombra was
Tactful.
weak. No, Sombra was weak to Cadence's magic. And
His horn got sliced off by it.
Yeah, and the crystal heart generates now the crystal heart needs to be powered by the general morale and unity of the citizens of the Crystal Empire.
I'm sorry, honey, I'm not arguing with you. The cat's trying to eat my cord.
Oh.
So
you're saying no to him.
Not.
Yeah, I thought she was saying no to me too. I had no way of knowing that from across the house.
No, I'm sorry. I'm talking to Achilles. He's biting the cord to my freaking headphones, and this I think this cord is strong enough that he unless he was really trying, he couldn't tear it up.
Yeah, but don't let him start. But anyway, yeah, the freaking Sombra was weak to Cadence's magic, and it was the same type of magic that was being powered by the Crystal Heart. But the Crystal Heart is powered by the citizens of the Crystal Empire, not by Cadence.
But it seems that Cadence feeds on that same sort of power.
It's the same type of magic, yes. So it was different, but also had a lot of similarities.
Yes, but we've seen that she can use her power. Like, love, she feeds into it, but also it feeds back into her. Like, you've seen the spell that blew the changelings away when she was back with shining armor?
Yeah.
Like, that was pretty significant, and that seemed to be, like, something Celestia couldn't even do. Because at that point, Chrysalis had gotten so powerful off of Shining Armor's love that it overpowered Celestia. And then Cadence went and took that same thing, and it was so overpowering, it not only blew Chrysalis, but all the changelings out of the surrounding area.
Yeah.
Celestia couldn't do that, I'm just saying. And Cadence supposedly has access to this power on the regular because she has shining armor, and I'm willing to bet that platonic love, maybe not in the same capacity, but can amount to the same as just the romantic love between her and just her husband. Like, she has the love of an entire empire backing her up.
Interesting. So, going back to Icanus, did you have any thoughts or points against Cadence being the best?
Crap, we've been talking about it, all the rest. I forgot it.
Gosh freaking darn it.
One of them would be, oh man, what was that? I'm trying to remember. I know, like, the Equestrian movie, she didn't, like, stop Celestia from, like, sending the main six away like children instead of, like, talking to them. Or the fact that if she wanted, like, a break from ruling, she could have gone and seen her sister-in-law anytime, and she knows her daughter would love to see her aunt, but doesn't do it.
So you're saying she has weak familial connections?
Yes.
Alrighty then.
I want to argue against that. You guys remember the My Little Pony movie, the good one? That one, like, did you guys ever see the opening that didn't get put into the final cut of the movie but was already done? It showed like the stained glass windows of like Celestia, Luna, and it's like they were like the princess of the sun, the princess of the moon, the princess for family. Like, I think that solidifies even more that Cadence's power is not just of romantic love, but the love of family and the love of like platonic types of love too. And we have to also keep in mind that when it came to them all being freaking petrified by freaking Tempest, like, we all got to take a point away from him for that. I think Luna did the best in that regard with trying to get away. But Cadence did have a good thought when it came to when they were about to be hit by something. She put up a shield, but unfortunately it didn't work. Am I remembering that correctly? She
Yeah.
had the right
Yeah.
reaction to the situation. She just didn't know exactly what was being thrown at them.
Or that it was a counter to her magic.
Exactly. So, like, there's just some things you can't account for, but I want to say in the moment, she had the right reflexes.
Right. So when and I said this all the time, especially back at the end of season 4, like I'll shill for Celestia all freaking day, but she gets ambushed a lot, and it doesn't matter how powerful you are if you're getting ambushed. So that's just something.
Gotta work on that.
Situational awareness, that force sensitivity. I don't freaking know.
Yeah, she got freaking ambushed by a plant.
Indeed. Well, all right, let's move on here. Alex, tell us why Pip is the best.
Well, I mentioned earlier how the episode where she helped Sunny understand that it's okay to have your moments and stuff, and she showed her the L compilation. Also, there's another episode, Brony, you probably haven't seen it, but for anyone who knows what I'm talking about, you'll know, where she sees Zip doing some investigating, and she knows what she's looking for, and she finds it. It's the little Prisma Beam Lantern or whatever it's called. And she is about to give it to her and then decides, actually, I'll let her find it because she just looks so great doing her thing and her cutie mark is glowing. It just seemed like such a good sister moment to me. So maybe I chose her based more on her sisterly kind of like good friend thing more than princess, but she's not going to be a leader anyway. Zip is going to be the leader, so she's just, a princess who will only ever be a princess, but she's a likable character like that. And again, she has her flaws. She can be like kind of weird and annoying in the show, but I think that kind of makes her relatable.
Kind of implying a little. Sure, I guess. If we're
a little what?
And also while we're out here understating things, hell is a little warm, wouldn't you say? No,
let's not compare Pip to hell.
The freaking crickets. Okay, whatever. My genius is unappreciated in this hellhole. Heather, why is Pip not the best?
Frankly, I don't see her doing any actual princess shit other than the oh my god, I'm a princess stuff. Stop biting my cord. She doesn't. A freaking cat. But she basically, I don't see any leadership attributes in her, like, other than on small scale. Like, she's run an entire music festival, which is a very different skill than running a country. I think it's mostly because she isn't being groomed for the throne. Pip is the younger sister. Zip is the older sister who is actually being groomed for the throne. And I could talk about Zip, but since no one's arguing for her, I'll go to Pip. Pip is just not raised for this. Pip doesn't have any natural, powerful, magical abilities, which I think we've kind of established might be a thing you need when you're running anything in Equestria. She's a social media icon. Look, I like Pip. She's adorable. She's fun. She's got stuff going on with her sister. She's a very supportive individual. She has a thing for horror also. I like that about her. Character-wise, Pip's all right. But leadership-wise, as a princess, she can be your favorite, but I wouldn't say she is the best in leadership attributes. Not very high on the power ranking. Just overall, I mean, she'd be very good with the public because she's down with the young people who really would like her because she's, of course, a celebrity. But that's what she really is when you get down to it. She's a celebrity. She's a socialite. She's not exactly, queen material,
Alrighty then. Icanus, why is Pip not the best?
Because she falls into the Hollywood stereotype of siblings. Because she's, I'm going to help my sister. False.
Okay.
It is our job to annoy each other.
Okay, so you just have a toxic relationship with your siblings, I guess.
No, it's one of pure chaos and hate.
They do annoy each other sometimes. There was that one earlier episode where they both get stuck in the cave, but they make up. That was a cute episode.
I want to say Christopher Jones puts a good point. Zip does the ruling. Pip handles PR. I like it. Yeah, Pip, that would be a good. If we were putting them together, maybe that'd be a little bit more. They still don't have a lot of magical ability behind them. But Zip, well, actually, I haven't seen Zip do much of the leadership thing. Zip definitely has a bit more of a critical thinking ability than most anyone else in the show. She's got that whole detective thing she likes to do. Her social skills could use some work, though, and Pip could help even that out. So if they ruled together as a team, it might exactly balance it out. But again, they don't exactly get anywhere on the power scale of things.
Alrighty then.
That is very true.
Point.
Let me tell you why Pip is not the best. Freaking Instagram, OnlyFans, e-girl, fake gamer, ethos,
OnlyFans.
whore.
Economy! She is boosting the economy, Brony!
Yeah, of lonely incels, maybe.
At least they're good for something now.
It's freaking. I'm glad they're equines, because otherwise, you know, she would just be completely whoring herself out for the gram, taking quote bikini photos at the beach, when we know that's exactly not what's going on. Right? Exactly. Thirst trap. Attention whore, not suited for public office, vapid, tone deaf, disconnected, horrible, bratty little girl. Get that trash out of my face. This is why we have democracy.
Starring number one artist on
I need the frickin' soundboard so I can hit that doo after everything I say. I'm gonna have to do it in.
You went at it. I'm
gonna have to do it in post.
You know what? You know what would have been like? Why OnlyFans? Why not Only Flanks? Makes more sense.
Oh. That's a good one. No, it'd be Pony Hub.
Yeah, that's a different site. That's a different site altogether.
Well, that's kind of
out there. Top-rated model on the Clop.
Question here. I'm going to ask a question, and guys, I'm not going to question how you know the answer. I'm just going to ask it. Is OnlyFans just pictures? They don't do videos?
You can. It's basically, it works very similarly to Patreon, but when Patreon tried to ban porn, everybody that was doing porn went to OnlyFans and turned OnlyFans into a porn site.
Oh, okay.
Then OnlyFans tried banning porn, and it like instantly backfired. And then they're like, "Okay, never mind."
Oh yeah, that's what we're known for now. That's all we do.
Exactly. Okay, so
and Markiplier broke the site.
All that being said, Alex, what do you have to say after that frickin' beating I just unleashed?
Well, I mean, you're obviously wrong about the OnlyFans thing. This is a kids show. They don't.
But yeah, that I mean, that's a little bit of hyperbole, but you freaking know. You know. I've seen your art, Alex. I know what I know that you know what Pip.
Yeah, that's just humanized. Like, yeah, that's not obviously that's not canon, Brony. That's like humanized.
Yeah, but it is not. It is. You know. You know. It's. It would be. It would be if they could.
I thought for a second you didn't see it, and I was going to mention it when you started saying that, but no. Oh no, you're right about some things like that. She's kind of like annoying or bratty and stuff.
Yeah,
and it is kind of overdone sometimes. I like her voice, even if the voice acting isn't really perfect in that show.
Mm-hmm.
She kind of like overreacts sometimes. Like you didn't see this, Brony, but in the recent, I think it was the Isle of Scaly episode when she meets the dragons. One of the dragons is asking about her phone, and then she asks what it is, and she's like, "This is my phone." And the dragon's like, "What's a phone?" And then she like has this like really weird freak out where she like looks back and forth at her phone, and the dragon is like, "How do you not know what a phone is?" And the dragon just has his head back, and, like, okay. They kind of overdo the whole phoneaholic, like Instagram celebrity things sometimes.
Yeah,
It's cute sometimes too, but
yeah, but it's
there's
also
lots of
not
things
fit
wrong
for
with
for princess.
What's that?
It's also not fit to be ruling anything.
Well, that's why she's not going to rule. She'll only ever be a princess who will
She's
never
still got the
rule.
title.
Kinda,
She's still got the title, and you picked her. All right,
Yeah.
you brought Pip into the Ring of Honor with people, with gods. You brought the Instagram thought into the Ring of Honor with people that throw around planet-destroying lasers. That's none of this is her fault. Right? Like she is not on the caliber of other princesses that we're talking about here. That is why she is the second worst objectively.
That's why she's the best, because you guys all chose the overpowered characters. I chose the regular.
We chose the overpowered characters that are actually qualified for their position and have actual accomplishments under their belts.
Yeah, I can't argue with that, but
That's right, you can't argue with that because it's the truth.
I guess I'm thinking like
thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I win the debate.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess I'm kind of thinking like an author.
There's still one more challenge here.
I knew everyone else was going to pick the Friendship is Magic, Alicorn princesses, so I was trying to be different because I knew someone else would pick Luna or Celestia, and I was tempted to do Luna or Celestia, probably Luna.
All right, now we got
Celestia has usually been my favorite of the princesses.
Yeah.
I wanted to argue Luna without trying to go into headcanon territory.
Well, you see, that's the hardest part about arguing for Luna, and we're about to find that out with Icanus, who's going to shill for Luna, is 90% of the Brony fandom's love for Princess Luna is headcanon, okay? Voice of Reason sucks at everything he does, but the one correct thing he ever said was Princess Luna is overrated. That being said, let's transition over to Icanus, who's going to tell us why Princess Luna is the best. Go for it.
Well, besides being one of the two princesses charged with ruling the world, in the they make all the nations of ponies into one. She throws around celestial bodies. Forget a sun. She throws around planets and stars that are bigger than the sun for fun.
Okay, we've already got one count of headcanon.
She makes the night sky. This is said in canon. The reason she fell is they did not appreciate her night sky.
That does not mean she makes the night sky. She raises the moon, okay? That's what it is. She raises the moon, which reflects the light of the sun. So if there was no Celestia, there would be no moon either, right? And just makes and then it highlights the stars, okay? That's not the same thing as making the nights. She had one job that she did while everybody was asleep and then wondered why nobody looked at it. All right, so we've got one count of headcanon already. Do you want to add anything else to it?
Let's see. She actually meets her subjects and tries to help them with their dreams. The CMC. And if we're also including the comics, she helped save the main six after they got turned evil from water.
I actually don't remember that one.
It's one of the comics.
Water?
Apparently, water. She actually tries to engage with the subjects when she got gave the powers of the sun.
Okay.
In a little bit more direct way than Celestia did, because Celestia was just sitting there, smiles and stuff.
So, to a degree, filling a different niche than Luna. Still not running a country, which we saw in a royal problem that she just can't do. She cannot be a public-facing face or figure.
She has Night Court, though, so she might have different problems than Celestia has.
Different, not of the same scale, though.
True. They could be worse, they could be better.
I don't know about worse.
We don't know. We didn't see it.
Alrighty then. So, do you have anything else you want to add on to it, or should we ask everybody else what they think?
Trying to think of what else she's done, because she's done a lot in the show compared to Celestia.
Indeed, they did give her more episodes because she's a fan favorite because bronies are autistic.
That includes yourself.
It does include myself, but that's beside the point. Okay, I broke out of that prison, which is why I'm a Celestia fan now.
No, you just traded one autism for another.
I've seen the error of my ways, and I have improved through meditation and self-discipline, and now I know I know not to be an edgelord attention whore like Luna.
I don't think that I have arguments against Luna because, like, yeah, that Nightmare Moon shit was a big slip up, but I feel like I could forgive that simply because it seemed like a spur of the moment thing.
It's that spur of the moment thing could have ruined all of Equestria. Remember in Cutie Remark?
Which is pretty fucking awesome.
Right, she was one of the like they said in Cutie Remark, it gets worse and worse every time you change the past. Nightmare Moon was one of the last ones. Right, so that could have absolutely ruined everything. That little slip up. That's not
and Flim and Flam.
That's not Flim and Flam were worse, but that's a different story.
I want to explore that universe, but back to Luna. What we see canonically, like, outside of that, I don't think she was a bad princess. Above Celestia, you have a point where people really like the fandom interpretation of Luna more than they like actual Luna herself, but of the Luna we got herself, it was very relatable. She encompasses, like, a different type of leadership that I think complements Celestia's. That dreamwalking stuff gives her a real personal connection with the ponies she's ruling over. We've seen her take a personal touch with the CMC, showing that she's, like, going to the subjects who are in a young state of mind and will go to shape the kingdom more and forming personal bonds with them. I want to give her credit for that because that's a really good personal ability that it shows that you're not only, like, protecting the citizens from outside external threats, you're facing the internal as well. She's helping them, like, get over their own demons and addressing emotional problems within their own psyche. We've seen that Celestia, just, like, when she was having a hard time doing Luna's job, like, I'll give you this. Yeah, Luna didn't have such a great time doing Celestia's job, but she never, like, freaked out in the middle of the day and yanked Celestia from whatever she was doing to help her. Celestia was handling and coping so badly with Luna's job. She ripped over to Luna and said, "It is so unbelievably hard what you do, and I cannot do it."
Let's
keep in mind
point.
that Luna has to work the night shift, and we see her at, like, day functions sometimes. So how little sleep is Luna getting, you gotta think?
I think Luna could at least sit down at breakfast and have a couple of pancakes without eating a banana peel raw.
Have you ever worked nights?
Dude, yes, you have. And look how tired she was. Look how freaking baggy her eyes was. I think I can relate. We've all been that level of tired. I don't feel like communicating. She hasn't eaten. Do not speak to me in the morning if I have had nothing to eat yet. I will not talk to you.
I've done night shifts like that. I did not want breakfast. I was forced to sit down. Otherwise, I'm like, no, I'm going to bed.
Yeah, so I think we can all relate to Luna in those moments, and Celestia being a morning person, not understanding it.
Well, it's not my fault us morning people are just objectively superior.
Get the fuck out of it. You disgust me. You disgust me. Morning people are unnatural.
You disgust me, Mr. I would sleep until 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
I need my beauty sleep.
Yes.
I look tired all the time if I don't get it. You know what? Points off for Celestia for being a morning person. Fuck her. Nobody knows that.
Yes.
Fuck her.
The human conditioning to be able to have people watch their tribes over day and night. But because we don't need to do that anymore, it is now weird that people are more attuned to sleeping during the day than the night.
Yeah, I'm just saying that Luna had to take the night shift. And you know, if she was working like that back in the day before she became Nightmare Moon and was getting even less appreciation than she does now, I can kind of see how the fucking Nightmare Moon thing happened. Like, did that fucking Nightmare Moon shit happen at dawn? She was sleep deprived and pissed off. No wonder it happened.
If that's the case, I definitely understand her. She'd be like Porter Ravo in Warhammer.
Yeah, imagine all the nightmares she had to deal with, and then no one gave a fuck. And like we see that friendship.
I really don't think she was
era.
dealing with dreamwalking until after she came back from the moon.
What makes you say that?
I'm sure they would have mentioned it in the prologue of the first episode.
No, they didn't.
Well, that's a
come
meta
up with
problem, okay,
and
that's a different issue.
It's a meta problem. If they wanted to embed it sooner, they should have. But if she has the ability now, we can assume she had the ability before. That she's always had it. And no matter what, because she's the Princess of the Moon, she took the night shift. She's gonna be tired. She's gonna see less people. She's gonna be less appreciated. It's just how it fucking works. And of course, Celestia is always the public-facing princess. So I'm just saying, like, I can understand why she freaked out as Nightmare Moon if she's, like, got a bad sleep schedule and is doing all this bullshit. Especially if that was early on, when she just adopted those powers and is, like, dealing with the change there. Like, the more I talk about it, the more I'm understanding, like, yeah, I would Nightmare Moon too.
And what I'm hearing, Heather, is that you're admitting Princess Luna isn't even cut out for her own job, which she is destined to do.
It takes some adjustment, but you know what I can't say? She can adjust to Celestia's job. Her job did not cause her to make so many fatal mistakes. Like, oh my god, one field trip didn't happen. Freaking Celestia almost let freaking Starlight Glimmer, a fucking walking time bomb, from having a nervous breakdown. What
Basically,
would happen if
she calmed down a unicorn Psyduck.
Freaking, I don't fuck with that Starlight Glimmer bullshit. I'm just saying that Luna did a better job doing Celestia's, and if she had to take over both roles, look, it'd be difficult, but she could do it. Because, and I say that Celestia had an easier time because she really didn't take over Luna's job outside of raising the moon. She didn't do the dreamwalking shit because she didn't know how to do it. Luna had to do that. That was Luna's thing. And I just love to talk about how the mental health of equestrians wasn't that good because no one was there to, like, you know, take care of their dreams and help them through their psychological issues. Honey, I hate how I'm echoing through your mic.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's causing that. So,
anyways, I'm just saying, she can handle Celestia's role. Celestia didn't even fully take over. She didn't fully substitute for Luna when she was gone. But it looks like Luna has the capacity to do both their jobs.
Alrighty then. Okay, so Alex, we haven't heard from you yet. What do you...
Yeah,
you
guys, sorry. I can't even talk over you because I can't be too loud to compete with your volume.
That's fine. I'm giving you the spotlight now. What points do you have against Luna?
Does it have to be against Luna?
It does not.
Okay, well, I mean, how about I do a bit of both? Against her, we didn't really get a whole lot of the information aside from that she was resentful of her sister's day, and in like that old story, it kind of made it sound like Celestia was perfect and Luna was the opposite. Although a lot of fans have speculated there probably was something going on between them that made Celestia more imperfect and that caused Luna to be the way she was. I don't know, but that is her flawed side, obviously, way back then.
Mm-hmm.
Which for her feels very recent. So, like, there was time for her to change, but it wasn't like 1,000-year gap for her because she was kind of like almost frozen in time when she was imprisoned in the moon. But obviously it was enough after it happened to cause her to feel horrible. And I think that's why a a lot of people will consider her best princess. I agree she is overrated. I think too many people choose her as their favorite just because of like her
Aesthetic.
darker colors and her like I don't know, like Brony said she has like a very emo vibe. I don't know, but I think it's because it makes her relatable. She made a big mistake and she's doing her best to make up for it now, and she's having a hard time. But throughout the show, we see her, she's helping others, helping the CMC with their dreams, doing the whole Dreamwalker thing.
Mm-hmm.
And, all right, I kind of lost my train of thought.
All right, that's fine.
We see plenty of examples of her helping others, and with Celestia, we see her helping her student Twilight and being a voice of reason, being a wise elderly figure. But Luna does that too, and I think some people kind of forget Luna does that too. She's also helping others out and being a wise elderly figure. And so I'd argue more for Luna instead of against, because again, we don't have a whole lot to go off of with her turning evil in the past. We just have those old storybook depictions in the first episode, and then in the flashback with Twilight after she drinks the potion, we only see the moment she transforms. We don't see what builds up to that, so it's kind of hard to really think like, why did she turn that way when we don't see enough of it in the show. But that's because it's backstory. It would have been nice if there was like an episode where Celestia tells like Twilight the story of her and Luna, and it shows more of that, because I think the flashback we got in the season 4 premiere didn't show enough either, and I think it was kind of anticlimactic. She was like Nightmare Moon for like not even 3 minutes, and then suddenly banished. It was kind of disappointing. That's just me.
That's how you handle a villain, really.
Yeah. It just like I just am saying I kind of wished it was kind of cooler. Yeah, no, I argue more in favor of Luna than against.
Alrighty then. If there's nothing else, I think we can get into audience participation now.
I have something from the chat that I wanted to bring up because I thought it was cool and funny and a good point.
Yeah, take it.
Pika Demos said, "Let us ask this instead. Which princess was the least kidnapped?" And I'm trying to think of instances. Cadence got kidnapped once by Chrysalis, but Celestia got kidnapped by a plant, and then she got imprisoned by Tyrek and all them. Did she get imprisoned by, like, Sombra? What the hell happened there? I don't remember.
No.
No, she fought with Star Swirl during that episode. Cadence got imprisoned by Sombra a second time in the season 9 premiere. So
Are we gonna count Luna being trapped in the moon as being, like, kidnapped?
Nah, because that was Nightmare Moon.
That was a punishment.
Celestia got kidnapped by Nightmare Moon.
Yeah, she did do that once. Alright, so I got 2 for Cadence, 3 for Celestia, and 2 for Luna. Is that all?
That's all.
Wait, when they got petrified, I gotta add 1 to each of them because they got petrified by Tempest. That counts.
Yep.
Did you mention the time when she got kidnapped by Chrysalis the second time, when Chrysalis at the end of season 6?
Yeah, they all got kidnapped by Chrysalis. Did Cadence get kidnapped by Chrysalis?
No, she didn't.
Yeah, everyone did. Literally everyone
Cadence
did in that episode.
Literally everyone?
Oh yeah, she did, because
Thorax.
what's the Thorax came to them.
Oh,
so
okay,
one more for everyone.
Yeah, one more for everyone.
What about Discord?
Discord's not a princess.
No, he didn't get kidnapped. Well, he did, but not at first.
Like, remember when Tyrek sent them all to Tartarus?
Yep.
That counts.
Yeah.
That counts. Everyone gets a point.
Wait, was Cadence a part of that?
Yeah. She gave her. She put her magic in Twilight.
Oh, yep. Okay.
All 3 of them put their magic in Twilight.
Well, Twilight only got caught in the season 6 finale, as well as the movie. What other times? I can't think of any when she was kidnapped.
What about when she got
Amazing.
imprisoned by crystals in the Crystal Empire? I mean, I'm gonna count it.
Oh yeah. Oh, and also kidnapped by Chrysalis in the season 2 premiere. There's a lot of kidnapping of them in here. I never thought of that.
They get kidnapped a lot.
Yeah.
Celestia has the highest. I gotta tell you, Celestia's like 1,
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She got kidnapped like 6 times.
The only
Like
time
Cadence
like
is right
Luna
behind with
did
like
it,
5.
and then Luna's at the lowest because she's not there for some of them.
Well, that's obviously because
She's like-
That's obviously
5.
because Celestia is the biggest threat.
1, 2, 3, 4. Or she's just stupid.
Technically, Discord's the biggest threat, but that's why they didn't.
Twilight's
No,
got 4.
Starlight is.
Yeah.
Correction, not Starlight. Psylight, Duck, Glimmer.
You really
Cozy
struggled
Glow.
for that one.
I was just
Cozy
reading the
Glow's
one on
the
the string.
biggest threat.
Yeah, but you know what? Nobody knows about
Oh.
Cozy Glow. Nobody knows about Starlight. Everybody knows about the person who's controlling the freaking sun and moon. Celestia's the biggest threat.
Actually,
Yeah, I know.
wouldn't Flim and Flam be the biggest threat?
Nobody
You
knows.
think if everyone's trying to... If you think, like, freaking if Celestia knows she's the biggest threat and knows that everyone's gonna be gun first, she would, like, try her best not to be kidnapped so much.
You know darn well it's not possible to be on guard 24/7.
At least, like, 8 hours a day, bitch!
Right, a good few of those times she was kidnapped, it was during the off 8 hours of the day.
She was on shift when that freaking Vine came to take her.
No, that happened at night.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
You know, Brony, she just gets kidnapped too much, Brony. You gotta be a little better. This is too many times.
It is a valid
This is too
point.
many times of like, I feel like she's not trying. I feel like she's not learning from this. She's just like, I'm pretty sure that won't happen again. No.
Well, I'm pretty sure that's not happening 8 times
For
in a row.
the biggest threat, she's like a glass cannon.
Yes.
Pardon me. Okay, so let's get into audience participation here. Early on, we got placeholder says if we include G5, Zip is the best, but Pip is the hot one.
You always need the
Yeah,
hot
it's
one.
like
Banned.
Phaser Light. There,
get
that's
out-
his
yeah,
other
get
name.
out of
He's
my-
in the-
Get out of my chat.
Out. Out.
Phaser's one of my Patreon supporters, a good friend of mine. Yeah,
Yeah,
Pip is
his-
his waifu.
Caesar's great.
Oh dear God.
Let's see. Crazy Horror 116 says if it wasn't for Princess Celestia, Cadence wouldn't be an alicorn, which is correct.
What? No, that's incorrect. Because
Celestia is what
didn't-
makes them the alicorn.
No, she doesn't. Freaking
What?
Cadence,
No.
after she overcame... You guys canonically don't know how she became an alicorn?
Quite
There's
interesting.
a whole fucking... There's a book where they tell you how she became an
know
alicorn. She
about
was
it.
a Pegasus, and there was an enchantress. She overcame the enchantress, and then she was teleported to the celestial plane where she overlooked her life. Celestia did find her, and they're like, hey, what are you doing here? She's just like, I guess I'm gonna be a alicorn now. She's like, okay. Freaking Celestia didn't help. She just kind of noticed.
Yeah.
Cadence
It gets
did
so
that by
annoying when
herself.
everyone says that. It gets so annoying
I
when
just
everyone
imagine
suggests that
Celestia was
Twilight
sitting there
got
sipping
wings
coffee
from
like,
Celestia.
hey, what's that? What are you doing in here?
Alrighty
Yeah,
then.
Yeah,
I know
just
about
saying.
that book, Heather. I know about that book. I just wish that happened. I wish they showed that in the show in like a flashback or something.
There just wasn't.
I wanna know
There
what the
just
Enchantress
wasn't an
looked like.
opportunity. There just wasn't an opportunity. Like Cadence was definitely not a forethought. She was an afterthought to what they wanted the main 6 to do. You know. And main 6 adjacent.
She was a plot point.
Make
She
6
definitely was.
adjacent.
All right.
Yeah, main 6 adjacent. She doesn't live next door, so no.
We got placeholder again says when do we start discussing personality? We discussed personality a bit tonight, didn't we?
That's what I argued for Pip.
Who cares who they are as people?
What?
I want to know who can blast the biggest freaking hole in the roof. I want to know who out of all of them is not a fucking Princess Peach.
Indeed, you
Fire
gotta
score
you gotta
count,
be kidding.
The answer is Luna.
All right,
And at the
Paladin
very
Pony.
least, if frickin' Cadence gets a frickin' Bowser situation, she has Shining Armor to be the Mario.
I'd play that
Don't give
video
her
game.
ideas for bedtime.
Oh, for God's sakes, get out of here. Paladin Pony T says, Brony, I have a point. Celestia does not change. She almost started any fight with Luna over small things. Well, that's just kind of what siblings do, as other people had mentioned in the chat. And that wasn't so much of like Celestia starting anything with Luna, so much as Luna just not being able to understand and empathize with Celestia, and Celestia being the older of the siblings, by nature being tired of her younger siblings' crap.
I think that's kind of BS, Bronny. Like, she just had certain expectations of Luna to be more like her, and it's just, like, you can't put it all on Luna not being able to communicate. You can understand what your siblings are feeling just by surface level bullshit. How does she not know that when Luna walks into a room and her eyes are that puffy after a night shift of work that she's not exactly in the mood to sit down and have a chat? She just said, too tired. That, like, I've just been there. I've been in that state of tired and have had the exact same people down my throat. Like, I've worked all night. I come home, and then my mom's in the room, and she's like, why don't you sit down and talk with us? Why don't you socialize with the family? And I'm like, I literally just got home from work. I'm fucking tired. Jesus Christ! Get off my back, woman! How do you not... How is that not fucking... I hate to bring it up, because people always assume I have the least amount of it, but it's fucking common sense!
Frickin' Celestia made a point to Celestia showed that's like, yeah, I'm tired too. I can tough it out.
She has a day shift job. Eat my ass, you white freaking privileged ass bitch. Ooh,
She had a day job. Luna's... Celestia's walking into a Walmart, or Luna's walking into like Menards at midnight. Already drank 8 energy drinks, got the full blast metal music, about to pull an all-nighter, and then go home and go to bed.
It's ridiculous because, did you see Celestia's day? Ooh, I gotta smile all day. I have to attend a fundraiser.
And she couldn't even handle that.
I have to smile. Anyone could get used to that freaking job if they had to. Luna pulled it off pretty well for someone who isn't used to having to be a public face. That's like a first day problem. She had first day jitters. That is perfectly acceptable. Celestia, you ain't goddamn shit. The one thing that I will say Luna freaking messed up a little bit was like when they're like, hey, assure those people that there's no Timberwolves, and she just yells at them, hey, there's no Timberwolves, and they just go, oh, there's for sure Timberwolves. That's just them being fucking stupid though. Like, that is the only thing that Celestia is good at, is putting on a fake smile and saying, hey everybody, everything's okay. Fucking sit on a freaking cactus, you dumb son ass hoe.
I love how you keep coming back to Luna being a night shift worker. Heather, have you ever met a night shift worker? They are I've been a night shift worker, Bronny. Okay, we've all been there, and maybe we just want someone who just gets it, who's lived our life. You work at a Taco Bell where someone comes in at midnight and wants a fucking 2 Fiesta packs of tacos and wants it in 3 seconds. Just
no. You forgot they're blasted drunk. You forgot they're blasted drunk.
Have you ever, like, it's about to close, and a chick pulls up to the driveway, and you're about to hand her gordita, and she's got 2 black eyes, and it's just like, don't worry about it, and you're, like, having to just be cool with that? Have you ever lived that life?
Not quite, because I got out of night shift, because I was so sick and tired of dealing with night shift people that I could only handle it for, like, 1 or 2 nights. Also, I'll just fully admit,
God,
I'm not physically built for night shift. I can't be overnight.
You hate me because you ain't me.
No, I can't freaking deal with
pulling a Celestia.
Do you? Let me go back to what I was saying about night shift workers. Have you ever met a night shift worker? And I'll remind you, Heather, you're not a night shift worker anymore either. Okay, those people are rude, short, dumb, high and or drunk all the time, have so shallow personality,
when
have
they're
nothing
sleeping,
to talk about.
You are at 100% brain function. You have had a good night's sleep. They worked while you were asleep. If you were sitting there at like 10, maybe 11 o'clock at night having a conversation with somebody fully awake, you would be upset as well.
5 to 10% of the human population is actually wired for being nocturnal, okay? The rest of them that are working in the night shift are just because they couldn't do anything else.
Yes,
honey, you're
that makes
showing
sense.
way too much bias. You're showing way too much bias. I've lived this life longer than you, and just because I have the privilege of working a day job now doesn't mean I just forget the experience I previously had, you fucking Danish.
Would he be
know
a
what
cheese?
she's going through.
Would he be a cheese Danish or a strawberry Danish?
No, he's cheese. That is fucking cheese up in there. This cheesy ass hunky. Fucking, you can't handle. I'm gonna get back to what I was saying. You merely adopted the darkness. Me and Luna, we were born to it, molded by it. That's why you ain't about our life, because you can't even be a part. You can't. You think you know anything about us. You're not a creature of the night. Being a creature of the night's pretty hard. It's pretty hard, Bryan. Then you try to put him in the day. She has to go to that day shit too. When Celestia's like, yeah, you gotta come to this ceremony. You have to come to this summit. Freaking, she's been to summits and shit after she works night shift and shit. My God, with the sleep schedule she probably has, I'm amazed. Nightmare Moon only happened once.
All right.
I would be nightmare mooning all the fucking time.
It's like you get up of a morning, I gotta go to the thing, and I've had 10 minutes sleep. I'm going full rage.
Yeah, it almost sounds like night shift people are unstable and over emotional. Ergo, not fit for running a country.
Also underpaid.
Also, yeah, that's another thing. How much is Luna getting paid? Also, freaking, they're doing the thankless job that no one else wants to do. But gosh, freaking damn it!
Somebody's got to fucking do it.
It's a thankless job, but someone's got to do it. You're welcome. It sounds to me like you're just underappreciating night shift workers. By God, you just don't get the life. And you are just showing that you're not even listening to the words that are being said to you. You're just like, you know what? I'm gonna just pretend I'm listening and just keep the opinion I've had, rather than open my mind and realize
I am listening, and you're just confirming everything I already thought. It's not my fault. Everything I think is objectively true.
See, this is this snobbish shit is why you cannot expand your brain to the freaking minuscule scale it is at right now. You fucking freaking donut. I called you a donut. Why? Because there's a hole in the middle. Because your arguments are hollow, and so are you. And you're been put in boiling oil because that's what you deserve. That's what it's about.
Jeez, that got out of hand real fast.
He's not even worth being a donut. He is a bagel. He is a plain ass.
Hey, bagels are delicious and nutritional.
No, they're just not.
Cheese.
The same thing as a donut, only with no flavor.
Okay, we gotta move on, guys. I have places to be. Picademo says Princess Angel Bunny. Get out.
No. Out.
All right.
Heresy.
Rusty says Brony is the whole bakery.
I know. I got real creative with it.
In the chat, there's a news T-shirt Brony needs to make of Heather wearing Nightmare Moon's armor, saying, "I'd be mooning all the time."
I'd be nightmare mooning all the time. Yeah, just freaking. You just need also one of me just saying, you fucking Danish! You goddamn donut! You ballistic bagel! You are a bowl of beans!
No, he's not a bagel. He's an English muffin.
Ugh, those are the worst.
Yeah, nobody likes English muffins. Christopher
I
Jones
can't
saying,
even remember the last time I had one.
yeah, Christopher Jones says, I have mad respect for our swing and graveyard shift workers at Coors Tech. You don't get to sit around and catch some Z's at my job. Yeah, I admit, night shift people have it hard, right? Only do it if you're cut out for it. I think there's more night shift workers than there really needs to be. I think that's more of a corporate culture kind of thing. And some jobs need to be done at night. And yeah, we're grateful for those and we're thankful for those. But by God, night shift workers could stand to better themselves on average. Just on average. Like, I know there are hard workers out there, but on average, I've known a good few night shift workers. And we did not get along. Moving on. Clayton Hess says, Celestia's biggest failure was picking proteges and training them poorly. Sunset had to fall like Luna before reforming, and I doubt there's any mention of her in G5. Okay, so that's well, as a teacher, I can tell you that not all of your students will pass. And if you coddle them, they will never get a chance to rise to the occasion. Celestia tried to guide Sunset out of her greed. Sunset chose not to. I don't think that's Celestia's fault.
I would say she tried her best, but the most notable students we can think of hers would be, of course, Sunset Shimmer and Twilight Sparkle. And Sunset Shimmer didn't end up good, and Twilight was good for the most part, but I feel like she started, like, the socialization process of Twilight very late. Like, don't get me wrong, Twilight took to it pretty dang well, but she really didn't start trying to make Twilight more of a sociable person until, like, her adulthood, which I found weird if she was training her up to be a princess this whole time. And as we saw, like I keep saying, Twilight eventually failed. Like, she had to, like, freaking cut off all the magic. Freaking ponies went back to the Dark Ages under Twilight's rule. I'm sure Twilight did her best, but from the examples we've seen of Celestia's students, there's either a problem in her picking the students, or she just didn't teach them as much as they needed to know. She just has, like, the track record is the best of her students just failed when it came down to it. And we gotta keep in mind, there's that saying that goes, there are no bad students, only bad teachers.
Yeah. All right, let's see here. We gotta move a little bit faster. Princess Spike and Princess Big Mac. Well,
Princess Big Mac.
Neither of them are canon. And well, Princess Spike was like he was an acting prince, or because I don't want to call Spike a princess, right? And Big Mac was only an alicorn
in a dream, like the Tanibus thing. He was like legitimately an alicorn. I don't know. I count it. I mean, they made Princess Big Mac a thing. They put a nod to it. I want to say that's canon enough.
Yes.
Also, Discord, he turned himself into an alicorn.
Max Coder 46 is a name I haven't seen in the chat before, so I hope he's enjoying the show. Outside of the physical tests and feats, Cadence has had the challenge far greater than no other alicorn has, which is raising a kid, one with godlike powers, no less. That level of patience alone is a good leader trait. Okay, I want to nip this in the bud here, too, because what Cadence did is just motherhood, right? And the vast majority of women have accomplished motherhood, and most of them even have done a decent job of it throughout history. So
yeah, I was gonna say, okay, bringing a child into the world, sure, a lot of women do that, but raising the child right, now that's a different matter. And because Flurry Heart got that one stained glass window, I'm gonna say Cadence probably did a good job. In fact, a bang-up job.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's just, but
Agreed.
that doesn't, like, there are plenty of really good mothers out there who would not make really good leaders. In fact, sometimes leaders need to be a little bit more callous than what a mother you would expect out of someone who's a good mother. Moving on.
And I gotta say, if she succeeded at being a good leader and a good mother, kudos.
Harriman says Cadence is an alicorn. She has hollow bones and thus is easier to throw. No. At least we don't know. We never really got, like, the makeup of a Pegasus. All we really know is that alicorns have the magic of Earth, Pegasus, and Unicorn. We don't know if...
Didn't they make those... They made those figurines that had, like, they opened them up and you saw the skeleton.
Oh, yeah, there was. I think, was there a Cadence one?
I'm gonna look it up. Freeney's Hidden Dissectables. I never got one of those, which I'm kind of disappointed about.
Would they ever get the idea that
they
Alicorns
still
don't
make
have
them, so
bones?
we could find one if you want one. Got to move on here.
I would like some of the... Yeah,
Clayton Hess says Pip suffers from tunnel vision.
Yeah, she does get a little too focused on the goal and might forget about the people she's leaving behind. I can see Zip doing that. I keep mixing up their names because they're exactly the same, except the front letter.
There's a Big Mac one.
What?
Pika
They're
Damo
not.
says, "Stop
They're exactly
biting my
the same.
cord" is the best argument.
Yeah,
Yes.
freaking what the fuck?
Oh, there's
Heather, how
Twilight.
are they exactly the same?
The names Pip and Zip are same aside from the first letter is what she said, and that's why she keeps
Oh, I
messing
thought you
Yeah,
them
meant
up.
just like-
personality. I was going to
Yeah.
say.
No,
okay,
no. Like,
fine.
I just mix up their names all the time because why do they have to freaking rhyme like that? Damn it.
Clayton Hess says, Brony, the only way you'll make it to see tomorrow is just to bow to your fiance and say, yes, dear. Okay, listen, Clayton, I remember you from years ago in the old Chaos and Crochet streams when Heather and Sweetie were living together. And how bad you used to be, and you've gotten a lot better, but you still have a lot to learn. We don't simp in this dojo, not even for the fiance. That's Heather and I will argue, and we will figure it out, and then we will go to bed loving each other even more. That is how it works. I do not need to grovel and go, yes, dear, I'm not emasculated. I'm a man.
And if I'm still upset, he'll take me for ice cream. And
Darn
then I won't
right.
be as a-
You have any idea how easy this woman is to please? There's a Taco Bell right next to the ice cream shop.
No, that's not a... Wait, no. Yeah, that's pretty close. They're
It's
pretty
close enough. It's close enough for me to make the joke. Alrighty then. Let's see what else we got here. Langos, which is another name I haven't seen in the chat before, so welcome. I hope you're enjoying the show. Says Cadence is the best princess.
Yeah.
Cyber the Unknown, which is another name I haven't seen before, says when Celestia would sacrifice the world for a man. You know what? That's true, though, because of the comics, the Reflections arc. She certainly tried. She got close. That's definitely a valid point, so thanks for that one, Cyber.
Are they talking about Good King Sombra?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm surprised no one's brought that up yet. I'm surprised you haven't brought that up.
I forgot about it for a minute. I was too busy on Ken and Celestia.
That'd be an interesting topic to discuss.
It would.
right
I
now.
mean, Reflections was good, but it was a little bit weird at the end. I didn't quite understand it. I got to read it again. Let's see. Christopher Jones says mental health warrior princess for Princess Luna.
Yes.
Crazy Whore says
That's
I'm a
how
night owl,
warrior-
yet I am Team Celestia. You see, even the night people are sick of the night people's crap.
Nah, there's just, like, it's the same thing I say. You generalize too much. There can be mixed of opinions. And I'm just saying, freaking, you're not appreciating night shift workers enough. That's all I'm saying. Is that freaking Luna's been able to pull both. You gotta get you a princess that can do both.
I did. All right. Raptor of Rex 07 says, still, the princesses are better leaders and politicians than what we have in real life. And yeah, that's, I mean, shoot, I would, if the presidential race was between, you know, any Democrat, Donald Trump, and Zip, there's a decent chance I'd vote for Zip. So yeah, I'll give it that.
Interesting.
Yeah, and
What about Pip?
What about Pip?
Brony?
Pip would probably be the vice president.
I don't want Pip anywhere near public office. So
you're saying you'd vote for
Also,
something
Heather, I found they did Daybreaker in that style. I put it in the group chat.
Oh, spit. I want to see that.
All right, so alrighty then. I think that's a good spot to wrap it up. Let's go around and get some final thoughts on one thing we learned. Princess Celestia is the best. She's the most accomplished, the most experienced, and probably the most powerful. I learned a lot about night shift workers tonight. Alex, closing thoughts on one thing you learned.
I changed my mind. It's not Pip. It's Blurry Heart because she's the hero in my story.
Okay.
I had to go out saying something weird.
I need to get a soundboard to have an alarm to deduct points for headcanoning. Okay. Heather.
We're doing
did
points?
it all night tonight. You guys did it all night tonight. That's like all I heard sometimes.
I did not do any headcanoning tonight. Thank you, sir.
I didn't headcanon either. I was just, making reasonable presumptions based on canonical evidence. But I will say, I'm gonna stick by my original point of Cadence, because though she's not as experienced as Celeste, if she's proven she can be just as powerful, she's younger and more personable with the people, and she's fostering the newer generation by bringing another alicorn into the fold in the form of her daughter.
Yeah. All right.
Overall, she's been very adaptable. I don't think I've expressed this enough through the argument, though, but she's been very adaptable to most situations she's thrown into, and it's kept a great composure. So, just more and more points. There's just more and more respect to be had with Cadence.
Yep. All right, we gotta wrap this up real quick here. So, Canis, one thing you learned tonight, and closing thoughts. Be real quick.
Closing thoughts would be Luna has done a lot more in the show for her subjects than Celestia, because of all the stuff shown, like with the CMC and a few others. And what I learned is Big Mac is best princess.
Every word of what you just said is wrong. All right, and let me see. Did I get Heather? Did I get Alex?
Yeah.
I think yeah. All right, so let's wrap up then. I've got other places I got to be. I'm way late. So thanks everybody for tuning in. I saw a lot of new names in the chat tonight. Hopefully I'll see you again in the future. If you would like to support the show and be on the show and pick the topics and pick the games that we play, I'd love to have you. Check out the links in the description for that, as well as everybody else who supports the channel and makes their own content as well. Aleximus Prime is one of them. Heather Blossom is one of them. We're especially grateful to everybody on the $10 and up tier, such as Heather, who's with us, Shady Oak, Sid McConroy, Autoknight, Emerald, Senko, DJ, Rein-Kun, Billy, Alden, Easy Mode, Kanto, Mr. Sonic, Alicia, Lynette, Calbeck, StarChaser, VentureCorp, Willie's in Icanus, who's with us tonight, Vulpecula, The Raptors Talon, Jimmy D, Banthrall Jr., and Dark Malcontent, executive producer of Titan Art Studios. We're about to go on to Heather Blossom's channel. I believe she's crocheting. She's going to hang out, read the chat, and make some stuff for us. So I hope to see you all there as well. And we'll see you next week for more Friday Night Fights and Brony debates. Stay safe, God bless, and see you later, guys. Say goodnight.
Bye-bye.
Good night.